morning. It's really early. I don't even know. 5 o'clock? I don't know. You can hear the birds. I love waking up like really early in the morning before the world starts moving. You just listen to the birds. It's like one of my favorite things. All right, so anyhow, I'm thinking about just weird shit, like weird conversations that I had at 977 Stalker Hill with the landlord and stuff, like just how he used to be. It was really bizarre. So, like, supposedly he's had a hearing. So, he's had a hearing, and so my daughter would come and visit, right? So he comes and he's like, "Oh, what's your name?" And then like my daughter would tell him her name, and he's like, "What? Who? Bob?" And like, why would my daughter be called Bob? Like, it was weird. He was like calling my daughter like some other name. And then he did it to my friend Eric too, when Eric came. And that's another thing. What kind of landlord comes down every single time you have a guest? Like, every single time I had a guest, he had to come down. And every time my daughter was there, he was like hovering around. So one time I was just in this mood. I was so fed up with being messed with. I was like, just stay the fuck away from me, dude. And then, so all of a sudden he comes rushing down, and I had Holly, and he comes rushing down, and I was like, I just looked at him with this look like, get the fuck away from me. And he keeps on asking me questions. Like, he asked me over and over again, like, how many kids you have? How many kids you have? Like, he'd ask me it over and over and over again. It was so weird. Like, I already answered this question. And then he's always asking me questions about my kids. So, I don't know what that was about. But he used to call people, like, different names. And, like, he act like he couldn't hear you, but then that stopped after a while. Like, at first when I met him, he was always acting like he couldn't hear you. And then that stopped. Like, and plus, when you talk to him about money, he hears fine. Okay? So I don't know what that's about. But then I'm thinking, and then it was Ed. Ed was wicked drunk one night, and like he used to like fall all over my garden and smash my plants with his foot. He was so drunk. And like one night we were sitting out, and he's like, "Come sit with me, Luann." I mean, there's a lot of shit with him when he moved in, and I'm like, "Oh God, what do we got now?" Because Charlie moved out, and then Ed moved from the cabin and moved next to me, and I'm like, "Oh great, now what's gonna happen?" So, you know how the narcissistic people, they love bomb you at first. So now he's love bombing me. Like, I don't know. He's trying to be my friend. He's like, "Oh, Luann, you're my friend. Just remember that. I love you. You're my friend." And I'm like, dude, you don't even know me. Like, and you're saying that. And plus you're married. It's weird. So, but when I first met him, we were all sitting around, and I was showing videos of my belly dancing. And I was like, "You want to see something funny?" Because I think that my dancing is funny. I don't like try to be professional or anything. I'm actually trying to do it to be funny. Like, I was going to try to be like a comedian dancer, like be a dancer, but mix in funniness into it. So anyways, I was showing them, I was just trying to like make friends and fit in, and not with those people. I don't know, why do I try to do that? I always try to like fit in and be like, yeah, this is who I am. And they're like, "Oh, we fucking hate you. You're weird." Or, I was told I was eccentric. Oh, and I was told I was paranoid. I was called so many names. All right. So, so many names I was called. And I'm like, these people don't even know me. So, so anyways, I'm showing him the belly dancing thing, right? And he fucking pulls up this video of this really trashy, like, stripper girl on the pole. He goes, "Oh, I'll show you a dancer." And he's like showing everybody. And I was like, "Oh, ew, wow, okay." So then he's like, I don't know. They used to spit. I don't know if it was him and his son. I don't know. But that's like one of my biggest pet peeves is people spitting. But the way they used to spit, it was like they'd let it drip out of their mouth, like to the ground. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to fucking punch this person in the face. Really, that's how I felt. I was like, do it again. I want to punch you. And I'm not a violent person at all. But the fucking spitting and just like letting it drip out of your mouth, I'm like, what is going on here, right? So then one day we were sitting outside. And he's like, "Come sit with me, Luann." He was wicked drunk. All right. And we're just talking, blah, blah, blah. I was looking at the sun. It was such a gorgeous day. And I was flowing in the Lord. I was just like, oh my God, nothing's going to ruin this day for me, right? Flowing in the Lord. I don't know if you guys know what that feels like, but I call it flowing in the Lord because it's just this magical feeling like you're so connected and just nothing can ruin your day at all, no matter what. It's just like you're just there. So, so I'm there. I'm talking to him, and he says this weird thing, right? And I'm like, Stanley's acting like a gang stalker. I was like, that's what he's acting like, right? And then he's talking about something, right? And he's like, and then he goes, this weird comment, like, I don't know what it means, but he said, I'll show you, Uncle Tom. He was like, I'll show you, Uncle Tom. And he said it like really like with this, he just said it really mean. And I was like, what? I was like, what does that mean? So he'd come over, he'd give me stuff all the time. And one time my girl's over, he brought French toast over. And it was really nice. I was like, wow, it was really nice. And I was like, French toast, it was really nice. I was like, oh my God, but I was like love bombing, I was just like, I don't know what, but it was only when my daughters was there. So I think he was just being like nosy or something. I don't know, or he wanted to see my daughters. I don't know. But, so he brought the French toast and I was thinking, and my girls are like, oh, he's so nice. He's so nice. And I'm like, yeah, he's married. I'm like, you know what I mean? He's married. So I was like, what? I know he's just trying to be a friend, just trying to be nice. That's fine. And then they're like, oh, he's so nice. And I'm like, he reminds me of your father. I'm like, he's like exactly like your father. Like totally like your father. And if you met him and you met Steve, you would be like, oh my God. So anyways, it was just, so then one night I'm always outside sitting in my chair trying to have peace, right? So there's always somebody stalking around or doing something. It's like so weird. So they come out. It's Shane and Stanley, and they're at the top of the hill, right where I could see them, and they're talking like really really loud because for some reason like everybody has to talk to him wicked loud. I don't know. It was so weird. They started talking really loud about the gardening, like really loud. I think I even have a video of it. I don't know. It was just like they're talking really, really loud, right? And I was like, okay, this is weird. There was just so much weird stuff. It's like pouring into my brain now, all the little weird episodes that went on. Oh my God. And then one day I have plants against the wall, right? And I kind of predicted this, which is really strange. So it was Ed had his kid over, right? And for the most part, they weren't that bad. But I guess they had other kids there that were their friends or something. And so I had plants and I put them out away from the eave of the building so they could get rain. And I just said to myself before I went to work, I said, I bet you when I come back that these plants are going to be ruined. Something's going to be wrong with these plants, right? Because I moved them. If I would have left them against the building, they probably would have been fine. But I moved them, and when I came back, the plants were all messed up. Like I had pepper plants, they were broken, and it was like almost like it looked like it was done on purpose. Like everything, all the plants were broken and ruined. So I don't know what that was about, but it was just little things like that. It was like kept on being like all these like little things. Let me see. Oh, and number 9. So now number 9, the other couple moves out, Brian and his girlfriend. Brian, the maintenance guy that like changed my locks on the door, and I don't know that couple. I don't know about them. So they move out, and now we get some. I don't know what nationality they were, but they were like from New York. Okay, so I'm like, oh, here we go, another people in number 9. What's going to happen now? So, like, he kept on walking by my window. So I'm laying in bed, and I could see when people walk by my window. So he keeps on walking by my window. This new guy, right? I'm like, is this what they're going to do now? I'm like, there's no reason why that they have to use that door. There's no reason why anybody had to use the door on my side of the building because the laundry was like way on the other side. So I don't know why everybody always had to keep on like slamming that door like right underneath my apartment. That was a big thing. And Ed did it all the time. It was like slam, 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 slam. This little door that was not even fixed. It was funny because it got broken, right? And I'm like, so there was no security in that place. Like my door used to blow open. And I started to think it was like the spirits across the street it sounds weird, but I started to think that it was the spirits across the street from the cemetery just blowing my door open because there was no wind. There was no wind. I literally was happening all the time. Like I would just sit there and literally my door would just open. And I was like, and I was kept on telling my daughter all of this stuff that was happening, right? And it happened for a long time until I know this sounds weird, but and I was visiting the cemetery, right? And I'm like, oh my God, did the spirits follow me back or something? They just like me. I don't know what's going on. So, anyways, I did it like a cleansing, and I was like, all right, spirits. I was like, you're okay, but if you start any shit with me, I'm gonna exorcism you out of here. It's like all the bad spirits are not welcome. So anyhow, and then I have another story about that. What happened? It's just weird. That apartment was very, very strange. I'd like to know. Like, I wish I knew the lady that lived before there. I'd love to hear her stories, or if anything happened to her, and or other people that have lived there. If anything has happened to them, I know I heard Ed all of a sudden being like, he was being all buddy buddy to the lady in I think it was number 8. He was being all, he's like, oh, if you need any help, blah, blah, blah. One night I could hear them talking, and and I think she was complaining about Stanley. But I would just, I can imagine if we all got together like the tenants meeting or something, and I told him that, I could imagine the stories. All right, the stories that. And then there was a lady that lived in. She went into the cabin for a little while, and I met her. She seemed nice, and I gave her flowers. And she was feeding the turkey, Faisy, and we were talking about the turkey. But I told her about Stanley, and she ended up having him put like a screen on the front of the cabin. I guess she paid half of it. Like, I don't know. I couldn't believe it was being done. I was like, wow, a repair, an actual repair that's like a nice addition to the property. Wow, amazing. But oh God. So anyhow, I'll tell you about what happened. Like the weird paranormal stuff that was going on at that place.